Hello, hello. Welcome to Shelf Sisters. I'm Sonia.
And I'm Sarish.
Welcome to your virtual book club.
Oh my gosh, it feels real now.
I know.
Second episode.
Yes, so excited. Our first book of the month.
Yes, our first pick.
Yes, is Funny Story by Emily Henry. And if you listen to our welcome episode, I was talking about how Emily Henry is one of my favorite authors. She's such an incredible writer. And for our first book, we wanted to make sure that we knew the author a little bit beforehand and that it would be a good book for most people to read, and one that was lighthearted.
Yes, lighthearted and fun. And I think this summer, both Sonia and I have been reading pretty serious, like either thrillers or historical fiction. So this was a great palate cleanser for both of us, honestly. And I'm so glad that this is our first book. And I'm honestly also glad that I didn't DNF it in like the first 20%. So.
Oh, yikes. Okay. I did not know your thoughts. Good to know.
I know. That's why I said I'm actually going to wait until we get started because.
Okay. We have not discussed this book at all. We're going to be doing it first time on this podcast because we wanted to get live reactions.
Yes.
I had no idea that would be hers. Good to know. But we will say that we're going to read the summary of the book before we get into it. So if you haven't read the book and just want like bookish content, you can listen to the summary, listen to the episode, and you'll know exactly what we're talking about. If you do want to read the book, because we are going to have a lot of spoilers, I would listen to our welcome episode, read the book, and then come back for this episode.
Yeah. But also, even within the episode, if you really are not going to read this book and just want to listen for girly chit chat, I think it's not just about the book. Like, it's our thoughts, like how this book.
I agree.
Yeah. How everything that was portrayed in this book, honestly, was pretty descriptive. So I think the conversations that are going to flow from that are just going to be fun and entertaining. So even if you're not planning on reading the book and you just want to listen to some girlies, I think you should stay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Shall we get into it? Let's do the summary first.
Yes. Yeah, let's get started.
Okay, perfect.
Do you want to walk us through the summary, Sonia?
Yes. Okay, so I'm basically going to read the summary that's on Goodreads. I'll edit it a little bit. I'm going to have to shorten it because
it's too long and honestly kind of gives away some of the things. So go ahead and get started.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Let me find my place. Okay. Daphne always loved the way her fiance Peter told their story, how they met, fell in love, and moved back to his lakeside hometown to begin their life together. He really was good at telling it, right up until the moment he realized he was actually in love with his childhood best friend, Petra, which is how Daphne begins her new story. Stranded in beautiful Waning Bay, Michigan, without friends or family, but with a dream job as a children's librarian, and proposing to be roommates with the only person who could possibly understand her predicament, Petra's ex, Miles Nowak. And basically from there, they move in together, Miles and Daphne, and pretend to start dating to make their exes jealous. And within that whole process, they realize they actually do love each other, and they had some hiccups along the way, but then they got there, and then turns out their exes ended up splitting up. So
wow, spoilers in literally the first 5 minutes. I love it.
We told you it was going to happen, but that's basically the summary of the book. There's some details along the way that we'll discuss, but it was a pretty, like, I don't want to say standard romance, but I loved it.
Yes.
So it was like more than standard to me. The banter was so good. But okay, before I talk anymore, I now want to know your thoughts. So at first, let's go into our overall thoughts. We'll give our ratings. We'll guess each other's ratings.
Okay.
So
let me talk through my initial thoughts. I was very, very excited to read something that was going to be lighthearted and fun this summer. So I had high hopes for this, especially because it was our first pick. I was hoping that I would not hate it in the first 20%, which is what happens whenever I'm reading a palate cleanser for myself. So I think that's a plus. I didn't DNF it in the first 20%. I just thought I could not believe that Daphne, who seemingly is a smart girl, and she was brought up by a mom who was
very independent.
Yes, independent, strong, and like those are the values that she was raised with. She kind of just like left her entire life and conformed into his world, moving into Michigan, like wherever they were. Honestly, I was disinterested in the location to start. I'm shocking Sonia right now. But yes, so it was very unexpected for her to just kind of like leave everything behind, move, and just take on his life as her own. And at that point, I was like, well, something's going to happen. And obviously, I didn't read the summary of the book before I started. So,
Gotcha.
yes. And as soon as it happened, I just like the way that Emily Henry writes, honestly, I agree with you. She's very descriptive, and the conversations that are happening, like you can actually picture them happening. So that's why like she's a good author for us to pick and for people to get like a stab at reading for their first time. So very descriptive, and I could understand like how that conversation was like happening. Her emotions, I just cannot understand. Like
What do you mean? What emotions?
I don't know. At first she's like standoffish, but then like it's not erratic. I think that's too much to say, but I just didn't understand. And also she was, I think 33 or 34 years
33.
old. I'm sorry. Like you should be able to speak those emotions in as it's like happening and be able to like vocalize it, I think. And the way she just like blurted out that she was now dating Petra's ex and like living with him, that was behavior that I do not see a 33-year-old woman doing. Granted, her ex-fiance broke up with her. I get that part. But I don't know. Just, a lot of like the things that she did in the first couple of chapters of the book, I did not foresee. Like the way that she reacted. Yeah, it was
like unbelieving, like
yes,
to lie about that.
Exactly. And so then I was like, wow, so this is going to be like a kiddish romance that I really will not like. And I gave it a chance though. I gave it a chance for you and for this first episode because I didn't want to come in here and say, I didn't finish it. I'm sorry. Because honestly, you probably wouldn't have been surprised. You would have been like, oh God.
Yeah. Okay, well.
Yeah,
I was not,
but pleasantly surprised by the banter that both her and Miles, and that's all Emily Henry. Like the way she does banter is
in every book of hers.
In every book, yes. Like it's not, it toes the line of being cheesy but not cringy in such a perfect way. And the way you describe sometimes, like her books are just like other like girly, like fun books to me is like. Sonia wants to giggle and like clap and like just be, I don't even know. I forget what the text you sent me.
I said this to Sarah and she thought I made it up and I was like, wow, thanks.
Yes,
but I was like, I want a book that oh my God, what did I say? I want a book to make me giggle and kick my feet.
Yes.
And she thought me saying that was just like out of the blue, but that's a very book talk thing. Okay. I'm giggling, kicking my feet reading this.
Okay. Well, I was not giggling, kicking my feet, but I did appreciate the banter because I think that got me interested in both of the characters, Miles and Daphne. And I think Emily Henry did a great job being like descriptive about what they looked like, what their day-to-day life was. And sometimes like that mundane stuff in the books really just like brings like the full picture together of that person and just like their full vibe, you know? And I think she does that really well. And I think the banter between Daphne and Miles got me hooked. And then I was in, and then I was like, okay, well now I'm like 30% in, so I can keep going and I'll have something to say. But that's like initial thoughts. Based on that, what do you think my rating was? My Goodreads rating, because that's like...
Oh, okay. I think that's two different things.
Oh.
For me.
Okay.
Because for me, I always give a higher rating on Goodreads than what I actually think in my head, just because I feel like the author has put so much time, so many months, so much effort into this book that they've put out into the world.
Yeah.
So even if I think a book is literally 1 star, I'll give it 2.
Okay.
You know, like I always just go one step further.
Yes.
So to me, it's different. Is it not different to you? You just, if it's a
No.
4, it's a 4 on Goodreads.
Yeah, and I'm trying to think like if I have given a 1 star. Wow, I feel like a bad person. But no, I've
that's fine.
given a 1 star. Do not follow me on Goodreads. I'm on private, so it's fine.
Oh my God.
But no, I think it's the same for me. But I agree with you. In my mind, it's a little bit lower than what I rated it on Goodreads.
Okay.
So.
Okay. I don't know if you were like nice about it or not. I want to say on Goodreads, you either gave it a 3 or a 4. Okay. I'm gonna guess.
Okay.
I think on Goodreads, you gave it a 4, and I think in your head, your rating, I'm not looking at your face, so like I don't get a feel for what you're thinking. I think in your head, your rating was like a 3.5.
Oh, wow. Okay. Should I give you my rating now?
Yeah, I want to know.
Shocked?
I can't wait anymore. I need to know.
My Goodreads rating was a 3.
Okay.
In my mind, this was a 2.8.
Wow, I'm literally shocked right now.
That's why when you walked into this house and we were like getting ready to do this, I said, I can't tell you my feelings because I think you're going to be shocked by this, and you really are.
I'm really shocked. I'm kind of speechless. Okay. But you know what? Everyone has different opinions. Books and reading, it's so subjective.
It's so personal.
So I don't want to knock your rating and what you're saying because honestly, when you were saying you don't understand her feelings when she's like ping-ponging back and forth, I didn't think about it like that, but I understand what you're saying because I thought of her relationship with her dad, with Miles, with her ex Peter, with her friend. So I understand what you're saying. Yeah.
You're looking at her as a whole. I judged her in the first 10% of the book. So
I did have a decent amount of judgments, but it actually wasn't towards Daphne because I really liked her. Okay. Should I just get into...
Yeah, no, and the way you're saying this, like, my feelings obviously changed in the second half of the book. Because then that's when she brought in like the full character development of her parents. Oh my gosh, I loved her mom, her sweet mom.
Same,
her parents,
so sweet.
Yes. And then Miles' relationship with his family. So I think all of that development could have been done a little bit earlier in the book because I think they wasted so much time saying or bringing up Petra and what was his name? Like the fiance's name?
Peter.
Irrelevant. I'm sorry.
They were the worst.
Okay, but like bringing Daphne and Miles, bringing them up in conversation constantly.
Oh, I totally agree with you about that.
I'm so annoying. That's when I was like, am I gonna get through this? Like, does it say this kiddish? Like, until what extent, you know?
Yeah.
So, yes, they grew on me because of the character development. So, I think it was dragged on a little bit too much towards the beginning.
About that part. Yeah.
Yes. So, that's what really annoyed me. And that was the cause of my ratings. But the 3, honestly, was because of the second half of the book. So.
Wow. Or else you would have given it a 2?
Yes.
Wow. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Good to know.
I'm sorry. This was...
No,
it's
totally
authors,
fine.
So.
No, it's fine because I know that you liked, and this is one of the questions, so I don't want to get into it too much, but we're going to talk a little bit about her past books, and I know that you did at least enjoy. I don't know about love.
No, I did.
Okay,
enjoy.
Perfect. I don't know if I should be saying perf on the podcast, but...
That's okay.
Okay, so I'll talk about my thoughts. I want to pull up my phone because I honestly wrote down so much.
Oh, you did? Okay,
yeah,
I have things highlighted.
Okay, I just want to make sure I don't forget something, but I overall really liked the book.
Okay.
I love Emily Henry's banter. It literally makes me laugh out loud, and I don't have any other romance books that do this for me. It's so funny. I highlighted passages too, and maybe we can read them later.
Yes.
But just the jokes that she made in there, and like the sarcasm.
The sarcasm was great.
Yeah, and when I saw the word deadpan coming up, when they would say things in like such a serious way, it just made me laugh so much. So I loved that. I thought everyone was so funny. In the beginning, when I started reading it and when they first introduced Miles, I was like, I don't know how this is going to be the male lead. Like, he's so depressed. He's so upset about, like, his ex. How is he going to end up loving this girl?
Yes.
I was so confused about that.
Yes.
But then I really started to like him. And the two characters I absolutely hated were Peter and Petra.
Yes.
A match made in hell, if I do say so myself. Horrible.
But also such fitting names, Peter and Petra.
But so similar, like they could be twins.
Yes.
And they were just so horrible, leaving your like long-term boyfriend and then your fiance to get together, like decide in one night, make the change.
At the bachelor party.
At the bachelor party, after you tell your fiance, oh, don't worry about her, we've been best friends since 3rd grade. Okay, if you've known each other for that long, like get together earlier. Don't wait until
try
your
that out
bachelor
in college.
party. Yeah.
And then get
what
over
are
it
they
if it doesn't
doing?
work.
And they said they spent birthdays, Christmas parties, like their their parents became friends.
Oh, no. And then at the end, Peter said, my parents didn't understand why I got with Petra. They figured out that, like, we wouldn't be a great match. I'm sorry. Where was this for the last 20 years of your life?
Yeah, this wasn't discussed. Your parents weren't telling you, like, why haven't you guys gotten together? Or, like, it's good that you never got together. What?
You know.
And if you're such a close family, why aren't you having these conversations? So that, just right off the bat, I really hated them. I loved Daphne. She was such an amazing character. I just, every time they would describe her, I feel like a lot of the characters, besides Miles, described her in a really negative way. She knew what she wanted. And I really related to her because she was talking about, like, the friends that she has are so close.
Yeah.
And she's just someone who wants to be stable. Like, she's not into so much adventure. She wants to come home and be in a home, like a stable home life. And she knows what she wants to do with her career. She's a children's librarian, which is so cute. Like, now that's what I want to do. It sounded like such a beautiful life. And she knew exactly what she wanted from life. And I feel like people kind of made her feel bad for knowing that and not wavering in what she wanted.
Yes.
And even when she herself was saying, oh, I was so enraptured with Peter because, like, he has such a stable, like, family. They're so close. They love each other. They have so many traditions. And then he was, like, financially stable and, like, got her a home. I actually kind of disagree with your part where you were like, why did she move her life to be with this guy? But they were engaged. That's not just, like, dating. That's, like, you're going to marry this person.
No, I think my point was, like, she moved there for him, but never created that life for herself.
There.
Exactly.
Okay.
She conformed into, like, his way of life, his friends. Even at the library, she was she wasn't friends with her coworkers, but she also really didn't give them a chance. And that got brought up in the second half of the book.
Yeah.
They were just like, oh, like, we tried to get to know you, or we didn't even know, like, who you were engaged to, or, like, where you came, like, how? If you're working with, think about, like, your work coworkers, right?
Yeah.
A year after knowing them and you're that closed off.
Yeah. They thought she was like an FBI agent or something because they were like, she has a double life because we don't know what goes on with her.
Exactly. So when you're that closed off, at some point you really do have to let people in and start to build a life for yourself, even though you moved somewhere, like, because of a loved one. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that was my issue with that. Not that she moved across the country.
Yeah, I feel you. That makes sense. Yeah. You know what just, like, gutted me for her was her ex best friend Sadie.
Yes.
Who just stopped talking to her because her fiance was best friends with her ex fiance. Like,
no, they
talk
were
to your
cousins.
friends.
I don't even know. They were cousins.
Oh,
we
really?
found out. Yes. They're family.
Dang. But just like even her best friend from her former life, I guess, stopped talking to her. I just felt so bad for her, and it took a lot of effort for her to be social, and I related to her, not to that extent, because I feel like I'm like kind of good at small talk, and she just like couldn't do it at all.
Right.
So I felt that like anxiety from her, that she doesn't know what to talk about, but she wants to get to know people. Like, she wants that life. She wants to be a social butterfly. But for some people, it doesn't come that easy.
Yes.
So that's why I just like related to her. And I love books where the character also loves books.
Yeah.
You know? It's like
100%.
It's full circle. Like, I'm
yes.
surrounded by book love. I love it. And
Sonia wanted to call this podcast Book Lovers.
I did. But Shelf Sisters is great too.
Yes.
But yeah, and that event that they, like the readathon that they threw together for the library, it was so cute. So overall, honestly, I just loved the banter. Oh, and I've always wanted to go to Lake Michigan, and it was set there.
Yes.
And the winery, Cherry Hill, sounded so beautiful.
Okay, that winery, I want to go there. Like, it kind of reminded me of Dripping Springs in Austin, where...
Oh, I don't know what that is.
Okay, so everyone who lives in Austin or just Texans, love going to Fredericksburg. Dripping Springs is a hidden gem. It is 20 minutes. Yes, it's like 22 minutes from downtown, and it is hill country, and you feel like you're in a different world, but you're just 25 minutes outside of the city.
Oh my God, why haven't you ever told me about this?
Yes, I'm not sure, because I went a lot when I lived in Austin. But yes, and that's what it reminded me of like wineries on like windy roads, or like a little hill in Austin, in Dripping Springs.
Yeah.
So I could like picture that vividly, where it was a homey vibe when they talked about when they went with her dad and they sat in the grass. Because there's so many places like that in Dripping Springs and Austin where you just go sit outside on the grass.
Yeah.
You touch grass.
The scenery was so picturesque, so beautiful. I loved that part. Even when she was describing like their apartment where her and Miles lived, and she would walk to work, on her way to work, there were coffee shops. On the way, she would see like picturesque homes that like her dream home that she would look at.
Yes.
Well, it was like a storybook vibe, she said. So it just sounded so amazing, and I just overall loved the book. I ended up loving Miles in the end. He was such a sweetheart. And
I also loved that because of Miles, she kind of broke out of her shell. Exactly. She broke out of her shell because he was so friendly with everyone in town.
Yes.
And and honestly, it seemed genuine. At first, I was like, how does this man know everybody in town and is BFFs with them? But it seemed very genuine, where he was like actually making connections with those people on a personal level.
And helping her through his connections. So for her readathon, she was trying to get donations for this event for the children in their community. And through his connections, whenever they would meet those people, he would always bring up her readathon and then give her like the floor to basically say what it's about, what the fundraiser is. And her pitch
was great whenever she said it in the first at that banquet or the senior prom. Oh, it was great. Yeah. So yes, like I loved that he kind of helped her be a little bit more social. Even then, like she found her people. It was a small bunch, not like Miles. It was a small group, but you could tell how she was able to make those genuine connections. And that's why I was so upset in the beginning when she didn't.
She could have done it sooner. Because those connections were like her close friends in the end didn't come from Miles. They came from her. They were her coworkers, and then they ended up going out, had poker night, went to like the wineries and stuff. So she definitely could have done that at first, but
But I loved
she
it
lived
for Miles.
and she learned.
Yes, I
yeah,
know.
They were so cute. So, okay, guess what? I rated the book on Goodreads and then the rating in my head.
I think you gave it a 5.
On Goodreads?
On Goodreads.
Okay.
I think in your mind it was a 4.2.
So close. I did give it a 5 on Goodreads.
Wow.
And in my brain, it was a 4.5. And
wow.
It was a 4.5. And I'm just thinking, like, why wasn't it a 5 in my brain? But I really, really enjoyed the book. But I feel like in my brain to give it a 5, there's just like a spark in the book. You know, it's like when you like meet someone new for the first time and there's like, was there a spark? Like that's how I feel about books. Like, was there a spark for me? And so I think that's like the only reason.
Okay. Well, I highlighted something where it's so fitting. It's recommending books as a superpower.
Yes.
As soon as I read it, I was so thrilled that this was our first book.
Yeah.
I was thrilled that this is what we chose.
Even though you gave it a 2.
Yes.
But...
No, that's okay. But like that's how we converse and we have our own like differing opinions. But overall, like a fun read. It's just I was expecting a little bit more. I think my expectations were a little too high for an Emily Henry novel. I think that's what it was.
Yeah. And for me, I'm not including Emily Henry in this because I just love her. But the other romance books that I read, and I know we talk about this all the time, but we DNF them so much. And if you don't know what that is, it's did not finish or do not finish.
Or sometimes I say DNR, so it's do not read.
Or did not read, something like that.
Yeah. So DNF, DNR, all the same thing. But yes.
We do that to a lot of romance books because it's so hard to find a good one that's not cheesy. And that's why I love this author because I don't find any of it to be cheesy. And I know you thought it was like a little bit in this book, but I didn't get like a cheesiness vibe at all.
No, I think that's so fair.
Yeah.
I think that's fair.
Should we get into the discussion questions?
Yes, but before we do that really quick, because we were talking about Miles and Daphne so much, I know that you've thought about this. If this became a series or a movie, who do you picture as Miles and Daphne? Because obviously they're the leads. Peter and Petra do not matter. Like, I can't say this enough. Irrelevant.
Yeah. Okay. I knew we were going to do this. I thought we were going to do it at the end, but we can do it now.
No, because the way that we were describing it, I was like, I have to know. I have to know.
Okay. So, do you want to say yours first, and then I'll say mine?
So I have one for Miles, but I do not have one for Daphne yet. You may change my mind, and I may be able to think of someone. But for Miles, this is so niche. You remember Gilmore Girls?
Uh-huh.
The boyfriend who had like dark hair.
The bad one?
The bad one. That's Miles. In my head, that's what's his name?
Oh my god, wait, I have to
I know, you have your phone. We're recording on my phone, so I can't think about it.
Gilmore Girls.
Bad boyfriend, dark hair.
Wait.
Why am I forgetting his name?
I almost don't want to Google it because I'm going to be like, yeah, duh. Okay,
no, I want to hear your pick. But that's, as soon as he started talking, that's who I thought of.
Jess.
Jess. What's his real name?
Let me see. Jess.
I'm sure people will know.
Gilmore
Girls is a little
Okay,
niche.
his actual name is Jess. Jess Mariano. This guy, right?
Yes, that is such a fitting name for him.
Yeah, Jess Mariano. Wow.
Yes,
oh my God.
that is Miles in my brain. Not him playing the Gilmore Girls character. I just picture him like a little bit older, a little bit more like built, you know? But that's who I picture.
Wow, this is him now, but like a little younger.
Oh wow, he is in New Things, huh? What is a really sad show? He was in that. I didn't watch it.
Oh, I can't watch sad shows.
Okay.
But I'm sure people know what you're talking about because that went viral. But it's not our jam.
Yes, for sure.
Wow. Okay. I'm like so surprised. Did you even watch Gilmore Girls?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
Have we ever talked about it? I thought I tried to make you watch it, and you were like, "They're talking too fast. I can't."
It was honestly a lot, and
But did you finish it?
I did finish it, but
Okay,
I did
wait.
get bored of it at some point.
Okay, wait. Do you have a favorite boyfriend of Rory's? I have one. Let's see if we have the same one.
No, I don't.
You don't?
No, I don't.
Oh my God, who watches Gilmore Girls and doesn't have a favorite boyfriend?
Honestly, what was the blonde guy's name when he was at?
Serge?
She was at Yale because that's
Serge?
who I. Oh no.
No, continue.
I think that it would have to be him because she was. I'm sorry, turning away. It's fine. Everyone knows what I'm about to say, but no, him. What was his name? Logan.
Logan Huntsberger, I believe. I loved you. You were the supreme boyfriend.
Yes.
And this is why we're twins, because you barely remember, and we have the same boyfriend of hers. But oh my God.
Wait, you just said we're twins. We're actually not twins. But Sonia and I have.
I forgot.
Yes. Okay.
Strangers might be listening.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
we're not twins, but we literally
Have
think
the same brain.
thing.
Yes. We
Yeah.
have the same brain.
Yeah.
So my mom just responds anytime we say something that is literally the exact same response. She's like, twins.
With the twin emoji.
Yeah.
But yeah, I loved Logan. Wow.
I know.
Okay, what were we talking about? Oh,
I don't know.
the character.
Okay, sorry for this tangent, but that's who I think of. I think of Jess.
Okay, amazing. I think I have like the perfect, although that's really great too. I have the perfect people. Okay.
Are you gonna give me?
Okay, so
Miles
for
first.
Daphne, first of all, I just want to say, Daphne, that name, so chic.
Yes.
Daphne, the character, the person, the style icon, so chic.
Honestly, let's talk about it.
Oh my God, Jinx, you owe me cookies because I don't want Coke.
Okay. You can bake the cookies and I'll bring them for you.
Amazing.
Okay, amazing. No, I cannot believe that just happened. Okay. Well, now people will believe us when we say we have the exact same
right
brain.
after we talked about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. They made her out to be
Such a dowdy.
ugliest dresser, and
Yeah.
every time they said
I
she
have
was
quotes.
oh,
Let me
you
pull
have
it up.
quotes. Okay.
Yep.
I could not believe this because every time they described her style, I was like, oh, that's me. That's Sonia. So
Literally. Okay.
yes.
They said.
I'm glad that you have quotes. Yeah.
Yeah, they said that it was a lot of wool, tweed, silk, quotes, all of it a bit stodgy, professor. I'm sorry.
I
Will
want to be.
Tweed in this economy, that is not a stodgy
No.
professor. That's chic. That's what everyone wants on TikTok, on Instagram. Blazers galore,
Yes.
tweed galore,
Yes.
like
Yes.
suede galore,
No.
and literally the professor like plaid trend that's going on right now. And I was just like, what are these people talking about? And there was one point where she was talking about wearing, it was like a tweed
I know exactly.
midi skirt
Yes.
or something,
Yes.
and then a chocolate brown like high neck button down. Chic, what are you talking about? I'm sure the other people don't have taste.
Also, yes, I would have loved to wear that outfit. What?
It was so
Why?
insane. And then Daphne said her closet is filled with creams, tans, camels, brown.
Honestly, we should take a picture of our closets because that's the exact same thing.
I
I'll
don't
add
know
black
what these
in
people
there,
are
but that's
talking
it.
about. They were making her out to be such a dowdy dressed woman when
Yes.
she just sounded so
I think they wanted to play into like the librarian card a little too, or Emily
Oh,
did
I
a
didn't
little
think
too
about
much.
that.
Yes. So they made her seem that way and made her dressing seem a lot more mature than
and
her
they said,
age.
Yeah, and they said that
She was always
would
covered up. Like
always
Petra
covered-
mentioned that during senior prom where she
Yeah.
said, oh, like I'm glad that you're not so covered up, something like that. I'm sorry, offhanded comment. Like what?
That's
Why?
the trend right now. Very
Yes.
demure, very mindful. But
Oh,
also
yes,
that
yes.
black silk slip dress, backless.
Backless sounds
So perfection.
Wow.
I need that in my closet. And
And
yeah,
she,
I don't know.
And what I loved was that she, even in the books, like Emily Henry made it known that she was repeating outfits for so many different occasions. Like, she wore that dress for the
Capsule
first time.
wardrobe.
Yes, she wore that dress for the first time at the winery.
The engagement party.
And the winery.
Then the senior prom.
Sustainable queen.
Oh.
Reformation who? Like, exactly.
Oh my God.
Like, her wardrobe is the new, like, J. Crew vibe, and the vibe that we've always had, honestly.
Yeah.
And that's...
I think that would reflect so well. Like, if they made this into a rom-com, first of all, her banter would be so funny in a movie.
Yes.
Second of all, the wardrobe department would eat. What brands do you think she had in her closet?
That's what I'm saying.
Like, the tweed, like, where do you think she got the tweed from? Do you know what I mean?
It's the new and improved J. Crew self-portrait.
This is self-portrait.
No,
I'm
exactly,
wearing tweed.
tweed.
Oh my God.
Yes. And I'm in Oxford. So it's like, how is this considered dowdy? Like, I don't get it.
Maybe people are looking at us saying we look dowdy.
Okay, well, just don't tell us, because we don't think that way, and I don't care to know that. So,
yeah. Okay, I still didn't say my people.
Oh, wait, no. I also said Reformation for her, because have you seen the new sets?
Yes,
that they're doing?
the tweed sets.
Not even tweed.
No,
it's
but Reformation shows a little bit more skin than she would like.
I know, but right now there's midi skirts with like
crop tops, though.
No, polos that they're styling fully.
Cropped polos. I know exactly what you're talking about, and it's cropped polos.
They're not that cropped.
I would love to see her.
Yeah, and I feel like Daphne would put another like wool sweater over that, so you could see the little polo.
Oh my God.
On top, like,
you know what that just reminded me of? It was so funny because when her ex Peter came to the door unannounced, she was wearing a sports bra.
Yes.
And you know, if someone comes to the door, like you get a food delivery or something, you're like, oh, let me put on a sweatshirt, like pajamas or something. She was like, oh, I went to go grab my cardigan. Like, grabbing a cardigan to go see who's that. It was just so, it was the epitome of her character. Yes. Loved it.
And loved it, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so who would you pick as Daphne? Because I don't have one.
Okay, my Daphne, and I feel like this is a great call.
Okay.
Because of a past character, but also just how she looks. So in the book, they said that she had beautiful chestnut brown hair, and like described how she dressed and stuff. So I went with Leighton Meester. Isn't that so good?
Yes, I could see that.
And
not her now.
No, right now Leighton Meester
and
has
not Gossip Girl
bangs.
Leighton Meester, yeah.
Somewhere in between. So maybe a Leighton Meester of like, I don't know when she got bangs, maybe like 2 years ago or something.
Yeah, no bangs.
So the Leighton Meester of that time, like a fully grown woman, but with her full chestnut brown hair.
Yes.
And we already know from being Blair Waldorf, she looks amazing in all of these like
all the wools,
amazing
all
outfits.
the silks, yes.
Yeah, so I feel like she would be so amazing, and they should make this happen because I just watched Leighton Meester in a rom-com. It was like a Christmas rom-com. I can't remember the name of it.
Remind me during Christmas time because I'll watch it.
Okay, but she was just so cute. So I feel like that would be great.
That's so
and then,
good.
okay, once I say Miles, I think you're just going to be like, you blew it out of the water.
Really?
Yeah. Okay, ready?
I need to become more familiar with people in the industry.
Okay. Are you ready for my Miles?
I'm
pulling
ready to
up
be
the
shocked.
images so you can remember like what he looks like. Okay, my Miles is Adam Brody.
Sonia,
her
I knew you were
real life husband.
Wow.
Who literally is Miles. He's a little disheveled, but looks like what did they call it? Like a Labrador or something in the book. Like so sweet, but it has an impish smirk. Emily Henry loves the word impish, by the way.
Yes.
That was one of those words that I could never memorize. It wouldn't stick in my brain. That and Rye, W-R-Y. Have you heard that in book or seen that in books?
In hers?
Not in hers, but in other ones, they'll say like his wry smile. I don't know what that means. I still don't.
I think it's like a little like mischievous, but also
that's
like,
impish. I don't think that's
but
wry.
Is not okay.
We're gonna have to look it up.
We're gonna have to look it up.
But impish,
my Kindle will tell me yes.
In my brain now because of how many times she used it.
Wait,
but
Adam Brody is so
Adam Brody with an impish smirk on his face with his beautiful real life wife Leighton Meester. They would do so well together.
Honestly, after you said this, Adam Brody needs to start a wine label.
Why?
Because he fits the bill.
Oh. No, he can just play him in the movie. He doesn't need to start.
No, but I could see that right now.
Like, look at him.
That sounds amazing.
As Miles.
I know.
So yeah, those are my picks.
And the fact they're married in real life, and the
just
way
makes
that
it even better, so much more chemistry.
And the way that this book ended.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was, if you guys didn't read it, it was like a scene where they bought a house together and they were having a housewarming / poker party with all of Daphne's new friends. It was so cute. And her mom was there. It was such a lovely time to read.
Can you imagine like Adam Brody like going to get ready and shave his beard and all of that for her mom?
Oh my God.
So cute.
Love.
No, you knocked it out of the park. Wow.
Thanks. Honestly, that like portion to do research on was so much fun, but it took me literally 30 seconds because I knew who I wanted to go with, and then I remembered who she was married to. So it was so easy, but like for the next book, I'm so excited because I love pop culture stuff too. So I have so many people in my brain.
Okay.
And
I know what people look
that.
like. I don't know people's names. So I think what I'll do is just describe them and then find out their names.
You can just Google like 33-year-old brunette actor.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Shall we?
If it was Mariana Hewitt, could have also been Daphne.
Oh, beautiful! That's a beautiful call.
Yes.
She's
not
an
that
influencer, if you don't know, and she's so gorgeous. Has amazing brunette hair,
and she has the same
I love how
style.
the only thing we're thinking. Oh yeah, the style.
She loves
is
her
similar.
silk. She loves wool sweaters, all of that, and
very classic.
Yes. And she actually loves reading. I was just listening to a podcast that she did with this girl. Oh, she's a mom of 3. Her last name's like Petrovsky or something. She's Russian.
I know exactly who
Valeria, yes.
She's so cute.
She's so cute, and they were having a conversation. They were talking about morning routines and how like Mariana like incorporates reading into her like
By the way,
lifestyle.
I think it's Mariana.
Oh, Mariana. I'm so sorry, Mariana, if you're listening.
She's not.
She's not. Listen, a girl can wish. But no, I could see her as a Daphne.
Yeah,
I didn't have a Daphne, so that's my pick.
That's a really great
Not
call.
that she would ever end up with Jess, but I think that's how I picture her.
Yeah, I really like that too, honestly.
Cool.
Okay, shall we get into some questions? Oh, by the way, so we have discussion questions for now, but we're hoping eventually with time we'll have actual readers that are listening. And
honestly, I think for the next one, our mom will probably just like read the summary of the next book and submit questions. I wouldn't get it, and I would love that. Yes.
So yeah, we want listener questions and just to hear what other people are thinking about the book. See like what they have questions about.
Yes.
I feel like that would be a really great segment. So if you're listening, watch out for that. Yes. Hopefully we can do that next month.
I would hope so, and I think it'll happen.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
What's your first question?
So, do you have a favorite Emily Henry novel? Where does Funny Story rank?
Ooh, you're going to have to remind me of the 2 names that I read.
Okay, Beach Read?
Yes.
And Book Lovers.
Okay.
Oh, did you read Happy Place?
I did not because I DNF'd, whatever you want to call it, that book. So we will not talk about Happy Place because I really did not like it.
So you should do the 3 that you have read.
I think Book Lovers is 1, Beach Read is 2, and obviously Funny Story is 3.
Okay.
What's your
wait, do you have your favorite is Book Lovers?
Yes.
Okay. I have read Beach Read, Book Lovers, Happy Place, and now Funny Story. And I'm so, I don't have the greatest memory, but that's how you know she was one of my favorites.
Yes.
I've memorized all of her book titles. The only one I haven't read is People We Meet on Vacation. You haven't read that one
No, I DNR'd it.
Oh, okay. And so my favorite is also Book Lovers. That book is so close to my heart. Honestly, I want to reread it to see if
it holds up.
Yeah, if it holds up.
Did you read it during COVID?
I have no clue. I don't remember.
Okay.
I am gonna say book lovers, number 1. Number 2, beach read. Number 3, funny story. Number 4, happy place.
Oh.
Because happy place, it made me so mad.
Oh.
And
wait, that's the one that has a series on HBO. Is that Happy Place?
No.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah. It made me so mad. I don't even know if I should give a spoiler.
No, don't.
Okay.
I think let people read.
Maybe,
especially if they like funny story. I think Emily Henry is a great author to kind of get started.
Yeah,
reading.
We would definitely recommend book lovers and beach read.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? Maybe on our next episode, I can give my thoughts on Happy Place.
Exactly.
How about that?
Perfect. And why it made you so angry. But no,
yes.
I'm glad that we agree on the top 2.
Yeah. Okay, when we first met Daphne, she's happily engaged to Peter and has her entire life planned. Do you feel she was in love with Peter, or was it more just the idea of him?
Okay. 2 thoughts on this. I think she was initially, yes, in love and kind of enthralled by his family life and the way that he was brought up, because that was something that she truly did miss from her childhood. And I think that kind of was like her attraction to him. But I think she did end up like having those feelings and like loving the person just based on like the person as a whole. I think their connection, not that we saw it so much, but high level, like, I do not think that they were compatible.
Okay.
But I do think she was in love with the whole picture.
The idea of him.
Yes.
Not him.
Not him. No, I don't think they were compatible. She may have been in love as like a puppy love, like an attraction type of thing. Mm-hmm. But I don't think it was like that compatible love that would sustain.
Okay, I totally disagree. I think she actually really loved him.
Okay.
And his entire life. I think they were very compatible. I think if he hadn't blown up the relationship, then, and he was just like normal in that way where he didn't feel the need to like get scared and do something crazy, I think they would be like one of the most compatible couples.
Really?
Because she was so wanting just stability.
Yes.
And she loved, like in the book, if you didn't read it, she had a calendar on the wall that she would check, like compared to the calendar on her phone, and made sure like it lined up and that everything was written on it and she was where she needed to be at the exact time. She was always on time to everything, hated being late, and he did the same thing with her.
He lived a very like regimented life.
Yes, she said she knew where he was at all times. She never had to text him saying, "Where are you? When are you coming home?" He would always, if something went awry, like she would always get a text. She was never left wondering what was happening. And her home life, like her childhood, her dad wasn't around much, and he would say, "Oh, I'm coming to pick you up on this day," and never
She was also like always left waiting, and that was like a trigger for her like throughout the entire book.
Yeah.
So.
And then her mom slowly got promoted throughout her childhood, but that meant that they would have to move around a lot.
Yes.
And so they never just had one home that she always came home to. And I think as an adult, she said herself, like she really wanted that. And he provided that for her through his family, through just his personality on his home.
Yeah.
He was financially stable. Like, I know he made her move out, but like he got her like a dream home and all of these things. So I think she really was in love with him. And if he hadn't messed up, like they would still be together.
And the reason why I say like not the compatibility part is because once she was actually out of that relationship and doing things like in her own accord, I'm sorry, she didn't go to the gym once. She did
that because of him, but
I know, but it's just like she was not herself in that relationship, and she could only understand that once she got out. She may have loved doing those things in time, but I don't know for how long.
Yeah.
But I do agree that like some of the habits that like they had as a couple I'm sorry, love, like, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That regimented life.
Yeah.
But when she stepped out of that relationship, she was like, oh, I only did those things because of Peter. And that's why I was like, well, how long could she have just like been a part of that life, been a part of that routine until something like ticked and she was like, this is not my life.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So that's why I say that. But no, I could see it from your perspective too.
Yeah. Okay, what was your first impression of Daphne and Miles' dynamic, and when did everything begin to shift for them?
I mean, as I said at the beginning of the show, I was very annoyed by Daphne's,
Were you annoyed when he asked her to hang out and watch the movie with him and she said no? Were you annoyed by that?
the first time?
Yeah. He was like upset and watching, I think, Bridget Jones' Diary or something.
Diary.
And he was like, do you want to watch it with me?
Mm-hmm.
And he asked her twice and she was like, no thanks.
Yeah, but that's, if you think about it, like that was her, like as a person at that time. She was so closed off and she was just like, I literally don't want to deal with people that I don't know.
Yeah.
You know?
I just, in that moment, and they said that, what's that song? It's like something alone. He just loves listening to sad songs.
Oh,
and
yes.
he listened to it for like 8 minutes straight. And that was basically when we were first introduced to Miles. And I was like, who is this man? Like, get up off the floor.
Exactly.
So I was like, I don't know how like we're supposed to like him. But then looking back, that is a lot of judgment. Like if you love someone, they just like left you.
I
like
know.
let them have their peace. So I was telling myself like, cool it. And
no, as soon as he like was talking about the winery and like meeting well, technically all the vendors were just like older senior people, and he was just
that he loved him.
And he had such a personal connection with all of them, and you could just see like how he was such a good guy, so genuine, and honestly like willing to help everyone like along the way. That's when it turned. I was like, oh, Miles is a peach-om. Like,
yeah,
he's so cute, you know?
Precious gem of a man. That's what that stands for.
Yeah, from the toast. That's when it kind of turned, is when we kind of understood how he had relationships with like all the vendors in town, how he was so obsessed with like his work and like he was excited, you know? And he loved like that environment. So like his day-to-day, he really did like. It was just the whole Petra thing that was, I can't even speak, but yeah.
Yeah. And I also think just in real life too, whenever you're down, like about Daphne, you don't have the energy to be someone that you're not. You're just like, I'm depressed. I can't deal with this right now. So she got to be her real self with someone else who was also depressed and like going through the same thing. So I feel like that helped. And in the beginning, like she wasn't trying to impress him. She was just trying to survive.
Exactly.
And I think,
and he let her survive in that spot, right? Like what would she have done?
He was so nice to her.
And she had no place to go if it wasn't for him.
Yeah.
If you think about it, like she had no friends.
I wonder why. I think he was just so nice, so he just like let her move in.
Yeah.
But that was like a really nice thing for him to do.
Yeah.
In romances, there are always big conflicts and then a breakup. I don't know if you've seen this on TikTok.
I don't think so.
But it's this talk where everyone knows that this is going to happen if you're reading a romance. Okay. It's great, you know the story. 70 to 80%, that's where the conflict hits. If you're at 65%, you know it's coming up. There's a third act breakup. That's what they call it. Then they get back together. Okay. This is literally like if you're on Bookstagram, Book Talk, this is so well known. And I like knew it was coming.
Really?
And I was like, what is it going to be? Because now you'll notice it. Excuse me. If you read a romance, you'll just look at on your Kindle like the percentage and you'll see that it's coming up. But yeah, I knew it was coming. But the second part is, what are your thoughts on the conflict in this story? So like Miles helping Petra, and he didn't want to tell Daphne, but the reason he didn't come home one night was because he tried to go after her dad and get him to spend time with his daughter because like we said, he just always left Daphne and it was so upsetting for her. which is such a nice thing to do. But her dad said no, and he knew that she was upset at him, but he didn't want to say, this is what I went to do, because he would have had to tell Daphne, like, I'm sorry, your dad still doesn't care about you, and said, no thanks, I don't want to hang out with my daughter. And instead, he just, like, kept it inside and didn't explain why he was away.
But had that not happened, she wouldn't have gone to go live with the new friend. Why am I blanking on her name now?
It's not Ashley.
Ashley. She wouldn't have gone to, like, spend time at her place and kind of felt the
like a new burgeoning friendship, like even further than what they already were.
And she saw, like, how Ashley lived by herself, like, was independent and, like, taking care of, like, the household that she's, like, made for herself. And I really think that in the end, when she ended up saying, oh, I'm going to live by myself for a little bit, even if we are dating, no matter, like, what happens.
That's literally the next question.
Exactly. I don't think that with that conflict, with that break, I don't even think it was a breakup because I don't think they were together. Had that not happened, she wouldn't have realized that and come to the conclusion on her own that she needed to spend time alone and kind of create her own life in this new place that she actually wants to live in, before, again, moving in with a man.
Yeah, side note, Ashley's, like, pseudo mansion is what they called it, because her ex-husband was, like, a cookie heir. What? That's so random, but so funny.
So funny. So funny. I was like, wait, like Nestle? Like, what kind of heir are we speaking of?
I was waiting for her to say it, but I think, like, legally, like, you probably can't say it in the book, but that was so funny.
No, it was.
Yeah, but that was the next question. Like, why was it important for Daphne to live alone? And I agree. It was it's so hard. Like, if you're in a relationship and, like, you already love the person, it's, like, so weird to, like, move out then.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
But I think the conflict, the only thing where I was like, that's a little fishy, was when they were in the car and the conflict was happening, and she was like, where were you? Like, and he was like, I was helping a friend. And she said, she had to say which friend. He didn't outright say, I was helping Petra. Like, that's not some information you keep to yourself, that you were helping your ex long-term girlfriend.
That put you in this situation in the first place.
So that was the only part where I was like, but I feel like I'm just going to think in my head he would have said it eventually, and all is right with the world and fine with them. But, so...
That was good.
Yeah, that was a great book. You know what? I'm thinking for the next book, first of all, I just, like, if there are people listening to this that have recommendations for us, we would love to hear them, because it is kind of difficult to choose a book. I'm thinking the next book should not be a romance.
No.
I would like to. We're moving
into fall. We're doing maybe a domestic thriller.
Yeah.
And then we'll move into the spooks.
Yeah. Okay. So, but I feel like we're open. So if you have any suggestions for great books that can bring great conversation, let us know. And honestly, even a book that you've already read, but, like, you just didn't have anyone to chat about it with, and you want other people's thoughts. That would be fun too.
And as you could tell by today's episode, Sonia was very shocked by my opinions on the book. So I think we're always going to have
other people's thoughts.
Yes, I agree. Even though we have the same brain, sometimes we don't have the
Sometimes
same taste in books. So.
Yeah. But I think, that's a great thing to think about for the next book. And we will announce it. So if you haven't listened to the welcome episode, go do that. We did say that we're going to release an episode every 2 weeks.
Yes.
So once a month, we're going to have a book club podcast, which is just like this one, talking about the book of the month. And then the second one will be just bookish content.
Yeah, and also, like, things that we're loving in life, like, currently. And just, like, what's happening.
Maybe some pop culture if we feel like it, because I love that stuff. And right now there's a lot of books being made into movies, TV shows,
Yeah, if you watch our
that's so much
intro
fun.
episode, you understand like how excited we are that
Oh yeah, we talked about
literature
that
is
It Ends With Us
yes,
drama.
and how everything's like coming to the masses and everyone's just like becoming a part of like the book world.
Yeah, so that's so exciting.
That's exciting.
So let us know if you have recommendations. We will announce the next book on the next podcast episode.
Yes.
If you don't happen to catch that, you can check on our Instagram, Shelf Sisters Podcast, and then our YouTube. Oh my God, I don't think we mentioned it on this episode. We should have done it at the beginning, but we are doing...
No, we did.
On this one?
Yes.
Okay, but just in case... we are releasing videos along with the audio. So you can watch it on YouTube. The YouTube is the Shelf Sisters.
Yes.
Because we just love watching like podcast
and
videos.
Apparently, you're
it's
supposed
available.
to subscribe. So please subscribe.
Apparently. Yeah.
I know.
Do you know that sound?
No, I don't.
Oh my God.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
She doesn't know any sounds.
Okay,
from
I'll be
TikTok.
checking Sonia's TikTok DMs
Yes,
starting
but
today,
that's
so
10
I'm
years
not
old.
lost.
That's 10 years old. It's a little kid, and he's like, apparently.
Oh no, I do not
my
know.
God,
this.
I can't.
Okay, I don't know.
Okay.
Okay.
Anyway, thank you so much for watching
This was so
/
fun.
listening.
Yes.
So much fun. We're so excited for the next book, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Yes.
Bye,
Until
guys.
then, bye.
Bye.